Here's something that was in the Novos Ordo news recently that caught my eye. On October 4th, we read the following headline on Crux. Being different must never lead to exclusion, discrimination, Pope says. That was the headline on October 4th. Now, you might say, okay, what's newsworthy about that? Francis has been saying that since 2013, so who cares? Well, the reason this caught my eye is that this story came just 3 days after France's own new law took effect that requires all visitors to Vatican City to present a so-called green pass to be allowed entry, which means you have to show proof that you've either been vaccinated against COVID-19, recovered from it recently, or you've taken a particular kind of test showing that you probably don't have it. Everyone else, you guessed it, is excluded, marginalized, and discriminated against. In a September 29th article for Crux, reporter Ines San Martin writes, quote, as of October 1st, employees who fail to provide one of the three will be banned from entering their offices and will be considered absent without cause and without pay. According to a decree signed by the Vatican Secretary of State, Italian Cardinal Pietro Parolin, the decision announced last week extends to all personnel, from cardinals to lay people, head of dicasteries, and the gardeners, who work in any Vatican offices. The rules include outside collaborators, contractors, and even delivery personnel, unquote. Now, I find that very interesting for a church that supposedly doesn't ever want to exclude anyone for any reason, and no discrimination and stuff. Now, keep in mind that they don't ask people to prove that they're immune to any other contagious diseases, right? They also don't require people to be Catholic to work there. Heresy is still permitted. Well, yeah, otherwise they'd have to kick Francis out, right? But there's another problem here. See, if this new Vatican requirement were about ensuring that no one who comes into the city-state is a carrier of the SARS-CoV-2 virus, then there would be some logic behind it. However, that's manifestly not the case, since they will let you in if you've been what they call fully vaccinated. And yet, it is public information now that being fully vaccinated does not mean that you cannot carry or spread the virus to others, nor does it mean that you can't get the disease. So, in other words, the Vatican is happy to let you in if you have the virus or COVID, as long as you can prove that you've been so-called fully vaccinated. So that means that these rules, which took effect October 1st, do not ensure that there is no spread of the SARS-CoV-2 virus in the Vatican. And yet, perfectly healthy people with no symptoms who won't do the green pass thing are not allowed to work in Vatican City anymore, or, for the most part, aren't even allowed to enter. Now, there are some exceptions, but they're just that, exceptions. Now, that is what I would call excluding and marginalizing people by a man who insists that being different must never lead to exclusion or discrimination.